Hello, baby.
Hello, nasty. Hello there.
Hello.
I say hello.
Hello, friend.
Well, hello, little girl.
Hello, my treacherous friends.
Hello, operator. The beginning of everything.
Welcome back, my friends.
It's showtime.
Everybody, it's episode 247 of The Brink of Sanity. I am Jay. With me is John from Random Ass Radio.
Howdy.
And Rob from the Uncanny X-Cast.
Hello.
So, when John and I usually do the show, we call it The Brink of Ass. So maybe we should just call it The Uncanny Brink of Ass.
What's the brink of ass about? Oh, I get it.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah, it's a combination.
I'm not the smartest guy on
We're
this show.
shipping
tonight.
our shows, man. Isn't that what the kids say? We're shipping our shows.
Ship-
That's 12-year-old daughter. We're shipping them.
Oh.
And like if you go Brangelina or something like that for Brad and Angelina, it's called shipping.
Is that what it's called?
Yeah, we shipped our show.
Never heard that.
Yeah.
The oldest guy on the show knows all the young lingo.
Yeah. Got a daughter later in life. Who, if we bring up anything nerdy tonight, I have all kinds of nerdy shit that I do now for a 45-year-old man. Probably bordering on, if not criminal creepy.
I thought we should just start there.
Yeah, go on.
But here, I'll just say two words, and if I get dead silence, then I won't even go any further. Modica Magica?
No.
Oh, no one?
I have no idea
that's-
what you're talking about.
That's got a real anime feel to it.
It is. It's an anime. And it is Japanese schoolgirls. And for those of you who've never seen anime but have a thing for very, very, very young girls in Catholic schoolgirl outfits and revealing stuff, yeah, watch any kind of anime and you'll get that if it's got girls in it. Modica Magica, though, all the pervy stuff aside, because if you watch anime and it's got girls in it, they are, Sailor Moon, I could even point to for people who are old school. Very scantily clad, very exploited, I guess, sexualized. Anyway, Modica Magica, though, was animated by a drug addict, and it's about demons and witches, and I just think him drawing a bunch of shit while he was really, really fucked up on all kinds of stuff. And it hooked me. It was visually, the story and everything was like, what the fuck is this? But as any anime. But visually, if anybody wants to get themselves in the right frame of mind, say, and just watch something that'll blow you away, Modica Magica is one to watch. And that's thanks to my 12-year-old daughter. I'm currently watching, and this is another reason I'm not able to put up shows, Jason. I am watching Tokyo Ghoul, which is actually pretty entertaining. It's about
Wait. So you spent all this time building up a fan base, and then decided not to put up episodes for months so you could watch Tokyo Ghoul?
well, and I'm playing Torchlight 2. And
Okay. Well, totally acceptable. Sorry, fans.
They'll wait if they're good fans, and if they know what's good for them, they'll wait.
I had a question about that. Rob, you said that you stop listening to shows if they don't come out with episodes on a regular basis.
Are you about to call me out on how hypocritical that is?
Well,
'Cause that would be fair.
I'm just saying, as an expert on not having a regular recording schedule, do you notice because like once a year, Rob will announce that the show is weekly, and it'll last for like 6 weeks.
Yeah.
And then they go back to like once a month, once every 6 weeks. So do you notice like an uptick in downloads when you do like once a week, or do you like cannibalize your own downloads?
You cannibalize. At least in our case, we do. The more regular we get, the lower the numbers get, because I guess people have it set to like download the late. I don't know exactly what the settings would be to keep that from happening, but like that's almost the longer we go, the higher the number on that episode is.
Yeah, that's okay. I've noticed kind of the same thing.
But I mean, I guess the math of it, you still would rather put them out more consistently. Because I feel like once you get past that core number of downloads, I think you're dealing with people who download your show that no longer listen to it on any level whatsoever.
Right, or newcomers who may not even stick with it.
Right.
Okay. Yeah, I just was wondering if the same thing happened to you. Because now
You're
I'm
pretty
paranoid.
regular.
Because that, like, if I skip a week, I'm paranoid. I'm like, well, Rob said he skips podcasts. Maybe everyone's just going to quit the show.
No, I think once you're in, though, you're in. Like, that's mainly for stuff that just the stuff I tend to subscribe to, I've just noticed, again, hypocritical, but tends to be like very regular stuff where I get into a rhythm of, I mean, I practically, and I'm a little OCD too, but I tend to listen to stuff on the same days and stuff like that. Like it definitely becomes routine, and it's harder to get the other stuff in, which should teach me a lesson and does not.
You know how you just get out of all of that, Rob? Just throw the word random into your podcast title, and you're covered. You warned them.
Or you could just record them and never put them up.
10 years, I think my audience is pretty prepared for our lackluster delivery rate at this point. There's not a whole lot I have to do now, thank God.
Well, now it's like a present. You know, like 2 months go by, and you're like, holy shit, a new episode. That's awesome.
Yeah. At least there's a few people that feel that way still.
Or, well, for me, I'm still like, I'm reading along, so I'm like way, way behind now. So
it's helpful.
Yeah. Although this is kind of awkward because last night as I was going to bed, I was listening to episode 104. Mm-hmm. And I don't know if you remember what you talked about in that episode.
No.
Yeah, that was the vasectomy episode.
Nice. It's been that long. Beautiful.
Yeah. So happy 5-year anniversary.
They're hanging in there, literally still.
And it was just as cringeworthy the second time I listened to it. What's your opinion on that, John?
What's that?
Would you ever get snipped?
Oh, I've tried. Yeah, I was convinced. My mother brought up, oh, you don't want to do that. What would happen if, God forbid, you lost, one of the kids? And I'm just really like they're fucking
they're replaceable.
They're like, oh, babe, she ran out and here, get on in there, get your ass up in the air. Let's make this happen. We gotta get another one. Christmas.
Just get a lease on a kid next time instead of committing fully.
Right.
I feel like you should get a lease on everything. Like, don't you feel like you should get a lease on everything in life? Like relationships? Like every 5 years you could just have like a no-fault clause. Yeah, like no hard feelings. No, nobody's with me on this one.
Now I'm trying to think. But then do you have issues like, let's say it's a wife one.
Yeah.
Do you have issues with like, there's only so many miles you can put on a lease during that time? Are there restrictions? There'd have to be. You can't wear her out.
I think you can do whatever you want in that 5 years.
Someone's going to take this baby off the lot in a few years. Like they can't.
There's always a market for used cars.
That's true.
I don't think anybody's I have some friends that'll they don't care how used it is. I don't think that's the issue anyway. I think it's kind of like the whole boredom thing is the issue, I think.
We all either have those friends or we're that friend.
What, the all fucker friend?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I've been married for almost 25 years, so I've got no clue anymore. I don't even care.
Yeah, those guys are still
married young. You were 20?
Yeah.
Wow. Where are you from? Up north?
No. I'm out in the middle of a cornfield in Illinois.
Okay. I was going to say, that's not a Northeast thing right there.
No, definitely not.
Here, having kids early or staying married or what?
Getting married.
I'm from Jersey originally, but moved to Alabama, and I'm like constantly shocked, especially working at a university, how young kids get married down here and how like culturally normal that is. And then I talk to friends at home, and it's like people get married at 30, and everyone looks at them like, "Why are you getting married so young?"
Mm-hmm.
You know what? I would say it's a mix around here. In my case, I don't know, just seemed like a good idea, and it turned out I was right because it's still going on.
Well, yeah, good decision. 25 years. That's ridiculous.
Woo me. Yay.
Yeah, I just came from my 20-year high school reunion, and there was 2 couples there from high school. And I found that very weird.
Yeah, I don't understand. I've never understood that. And I know people. I had 26 people in my graduating high school class. So I would say that if I ran into them, and there was a lot of couples that were still together when we graduated, I can almost see them. But yeah, why? You've never moved on. You've never gone past your childhood. You probably still live in the same little town that you got married in and met in when you were kids.
Yeah, they all did that too. Yeah.
I'm shocked you went to your reunion. You don't seem like the go to the reunion type.
I'm not. I don't know. It was more like the curiosity factor. I wanted to see, like, you know, if the popular kid is now a complete piece of shit, or, you know, did the hot girl get fat? You know, I just kind of wanted to just see what happened.
You could have just watched Gross Point Blank.
wanted to make myself feel better.
How was it? Was it good?
It was weird because, first of all, I thought I'd recognize about 4 people, but I recognized everybody.
Oh, wow.
And yeah, everyone was like super friendly. Even people I would never have talked to in high school was like, "Hey, how's it going?" And, you know, one guy was like, you know, "Was I a jerk in high school?" And I was just like, no comment. Kind of hated your fucking guts. It wasn't bad. I mean, open bar helped.
Sure.
Got to have that. But yeah, it was you know, it was pretty good. Argued with the most popular girl in the class that I would not have been talking to her 20 years ago. She's like, "Sure, you would have." Like, nope, I don't think you.
No, I remember. It never happened.
Yeah, exactly. Name one other time we talked ever. Yeah, thank you. She was the one who brought her husband, who was her boyfriend in high school. Just kind of weird.
Did you bring your girlfriend?
No. I was like, why?
I was wondering. Yeah, that's a good take right there.
You know, like, why would I want to bring her and introduce her to people that she'll never meet again, to hear stories that she wasn't involved in? You know, the only people who brought their husband and wives were, like, for some reason, there's this huge group that all, like, keep in touch from high school, and, like, all their husbands and wives are friends. So I guess it made sense to bring them. But then the 2 or 3 people who brought their significant other that weren't in the group, you could see them, like, sitting alone at a table staring into their phone all night.
Oh, yeah, waiting for that misery to end.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, why would I do that to my girlfriend?
Good move.
Yeah. Anyway, Mark is not here, so we are free to talk about anything comic or video game related without him complaining. So I'm pretty excited about that. Did you guys see, let's start with Deadpool?
I have definitely seen Deadpool twice now.
Twice? So I'm assuming you liked it.
Yeah, I loved it. I thought it was great. I watched it with my wife the other day, who did not necessarily share my opinion for it in any way whatsoever.
I don't get how you cannot like that movie. I told my girlfriend, I'm like, it's a superhero, but he's funny. And she's like, oh, that sounds terrible. And then, like, 10 minutes into it, she's like, oh, I love this.
That's what I was convinced of that. So we watched it at home, and I was like, I get that she doesn't want to go see this in a theater, but, you know, at home, she does not really like any of the superhero movies. But I'm like, the first 10 minutes is hysterical. You're at least going to think, this is stupid, but at least he's making good jokes, which, in her defense, by the end, she finally came around to that. But even after the beginning, like, no laughter for the first 10 minutes. And I was thinking, like, how's that? Where am I at on that lease?
Wow.
Yeah, it's not good.
John, you still with us?
Yes, I am.
Okay. Just making sure.
Oh no, I've not seen Deadpool yet. Random. I have lots of different co-hosts. People are invited if they think that they can do it to call, and I'll set up a little interview and talk to them. And if they sound good, like they can give good audio, I'll give them a shot, and they can try and come on, and we'll talk about shit.
Via Skype, or do you do?
Yeah, via Skype. I don't really have the means to like have live people in here because I'm out in like literally cornfield and everything. But we also since it's the radio thing, the radio networky thing, randomassradio.com, kids. New content pending.
As soon as John watches every anime on the planet.
Oh, everybody cut out for a second.
I got some echo.
Yeah, I was all alone in the void.
All right.
Are we still echoing?
Yeah. Now, John, you're not echoing, but me and Rob are.
Yeah, I definitely hear it.
You sure you don't have the live stream open?
Are you talking to me?
I'm talking to John because he's suspect number one now.
No, I have Notepad open with my notes, and I have Skype open with my Skype.
I'm getting pretty pissed off.
I have Skype and nothing.
That's Doctor Strange original artwork fucking wallpaper.
What?
Do you even know who Doctor Strange is?
Yes.
Okay. I wasn't sure how versed
Doctor Strange is.
In comicdom you were.
They're going to have, I've told you one of my favorite shows right now is Sherlock, and they're going to have Cumberbund Bandersnatch going to play Doctor Strange.
How far into Sherlock are you?
I'm waiting for the next season. I
you're caught up. Okay.
Runaway Bride and everything, yeah.
We just watched episode 1 of season 2, and God, that show's so good.
I don't want to ruin anything, but it's been over a year since I binged it. Your season 2, episode 1? So yeah, you've met Moriarty then.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Cool. I just want to. I couldn't. I'm trying. Was it the middle of season 2, or was that the cliffhanger? Oh, okay.
That show. It's so
no idea who that cat is, but I just that would if they had Sherlock Holmes. I'm not so picky about because I'm a huge Sherlock Holmes fan. I read all the stories as a kid, big nerd about it. And I'm not so much picky as to who plays Sherlock as to his supporting cast of characters, and they nailed all of them. Mycroft, fucking, God damn it, my brain just locked up. John Watson, and
he's great.
I mean, they just nailed all of them.
It's such a well shot show that it's just like so well done.
It's the writing and the delivery and everything. Couldn't have told me that, oh, well, we're going to redo the Sherlock Holmes story, but we're going to set it in modern day London. And I'm like, oh, that's going to fucking blow. But I watched it and I'm like, oh my God, they did it. They just made it they don't tell you it's a parallel universe. They don't try and explain anything. They just tell the Sherlock Holmes story in modern times, but it's this cat Sherlock Holmes who is connected like he was in Victorian fucking London. It's great.
The part that killed me too going into it was I had a real chip on my shoulder. Like, I'm not like a Doctor Who guy or anything like that. So I had a real chip on my shoulder of, are you fucking kidding me? The British are doing the Sherlock Holmes show and they think, oh, this show's good enough to hold an hour and a half. Like, that's a fucking movie, people. Get off your ass. That's too long. And then I watched one of them, and I'm like, please make it 3 hours long. This is unbelievable.
Why are there only 5 episodes?
Right, yeah. I feel like an asshole in the end.
Yeah. Have you watched the Sherlock at all, Jay?
I have not. I've heard really good things. I've heard good things about that and the show Idris Elba is in. It's another British show.
I keep hearing that name, and I don't know who that is.
That's going to be the next Gunslinger, and I don't know how I feel about it.
Yeah, I know. I don't know how I feel about that either. Because the whole... are you familiar with the Dark Tower series, Rob?
Yes, but I have not read it, but I know enough to know what you're talking about.
Well, Idris Elba is black, which, is fine, but the whole big part of the Dark Tower series was like the race issue.
Yeah.
So, like, I don't know how you're going to do the whole...
But they're not going to have Detta and Jake, or Jake will be in it, but Eddie and Detta aren't going to be in it.
What?
Not in this first incarnation.
Well, yeah.
They're talking about if it takes off, they'll bring them in. But
yeah. I mean, obviously they're not in the first movie, but like if they do the whole thing, like I don't know, you're gonna like I guess miss out on a big part of it.
I just have a feeling that they're just really going to royally fuck this up. But if I can say one thing about Hollywood, and I hope this doesn't sound racist, but Stephen King,
something really racist.
King,
the sinister laugh in the middle of that made that sound especially sincere.
Yeah.
Stephen King movies are notorious for are notorious, I guess, not unknown for. They're known for if Stephen King actually directed it or had a full hand in it, it's gonna just blow.
Oh yeah,
absolutely horrible. Sleepwalkers, people. It was and also, but the one thing I will say is when their films that King didn't have a heavy hand in, and they actually changed one of the characters to like a black guy. It worked out pretty well. I didn't have a problem with it. Shawshank Redemption.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I don't know. I like Idris Elba too. So that's the one saving grace. If it had been like, if they'd had like called Jimmy Walker out of retirement and they're like, you're going to be the gunslinger. And he's like, Dynamite. I think I'd have been pretty upset. But maybe if I'd have said rerun, anyone? I'd have maybe went with rerun and some hey. No?
You got it.
Yeah,
I got you.
I do. I will tell you, Jay. I do have an enormous erection though to see what they do because I've always thought that why don't they make this a movie, something I can watch? I want to be able to watch The Dark Tower with my eyes.
Yeah, I mean, if they don't mess it up, this could be huge.
It's so rare that something kicks around as long as that has in pre-production and ends up amazing.
That is also true.
Yeah. And it's such a monstrous undertaking.
On top of that, yeah, exactly. It's a bad combo.
Well, like the first book should be really easy to
part.
do. Right? I mean, the first book is like two guys chasing each other in the desert. That should be pretty easy to do.
And you throw the little kid in halfway through. Yeah.
I mean, so that one should be fun. That one should be really hard to mess up.
And it has the best line in the entire series is in that one anyway. Go on. There are other worlds than these.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Oh, spoilers, kid. Sorry, spoilers. Jake gets killed, but don't worry, he comes back. Oh, can I give him the real spoiler? It's your show, Jay. But can I give the Snape kills Dumbledore spoiler? The Dark Tower series.
I don't even know who those people are.
He keeps doing it, people. In the Dark Tower, it never ends for him. The whole story you just read, he just turns around and does it again.
I saw 5 of those goddamn movies and did not like any of them, and I still don't know who Dumbledore is. I
read the books. My kids were that age; they were reading them, and I like to read anything, so I read them, and they're actually pretty well written. And I am the biggest dick in my household because we were on vacation in Wisconsin, and I was out on the beach smoking a cigarette and reading Harry Potter. I know, we live wild. And I got to the point where Snape kills Dumbledore, which is just a huge twist. It's a huge thing. And I just wanted to go share it with my boys who hadn't read the book yet. And I burst into the cabin and everything. I'm like, guys, you guys are not going to believe this. I'm so sorry. Snape kills Dumbledore. And just their faces. It was like I just told them about Santa Claus and that their mom died in a car crash and they had childhood leukemia all at the same time.
You're that guy, huh?
Yeah, and my youngest boy actually at the time, who was probably 9, was like, "You're a dick."
That was like when I went over to my friend's house in elementary school and he told me Shredder dies at the end of Turtles 2. I was
heartbreaking moment.
I was destroyed. I was supposed to go see it in the movies like 2 days later.
Oh,
all that lore down the drain.
Do you guys think something should be spoiler free? I mean, should I have to, as podcasters, as people who interact with the public via our strong, manly voices, should we watch what we say? Should you have to say spoiler alert before you fucking talk about something now because everything is so connected? Or should people just... I
think it's kind of a dick move to give away the ending of something like immediately. I remember like in Walking Dead, the episode where they kill Shane. It's 4 years later, right? I could say that now.
No, you can't. You just fucked it up for somebody.
No. Watch. Spoiler alert. There we go.
Okay, cool.
So
they set their shit off.
I'm on Facebook at like 9:02, and somebody posts like, "Oh my god, they killed Shane," and I'm like, "Fucker!" Like, not everyone watches it in real time. You know, some of us hate commercials and record it on purpose. And like, that's the first thought that comes into your head to like just go on Facebook and spoil it. I don't know. It's kind of annoying.
Oh, no, I agree with that. But I'm just talking about in the course of normal conversation. Like if we all three got into a big, say a conversation about Walking Dead. Yeah. And we kind of get all worked up and get toward the last season and everything. And I get ready to say something. I'm like, oh, wait a minute. just because dipshit McShitterson is listening right now and they're a big fan, but they're not fucking caught up yet. I have to stop in the middle of my flow and go, spoiler alert. And then you should actually, if you're going to say spoiler alert, you should pause. It's like an implied comma right there. Spoiler alert. Okay, they had time to turn their shit off. Now we can talk about it. Fuck them.
Are you talking about in a podcast scenario or like in a hanging out scenario?
Either one. I'd say a podcast scenario more so, just because the entertainment segment that we do, the Ryan Simpson of HowSimpSeesIt.com, he puts his shit up every week, kids. He is very big on the fact we have a rule that I have a disclaimer at the beginning. Everything, if you don't want spoilers, don't fucking listen to this show. And even the fact that I have to put that on there annoys me. But on his, he is big about, it's spoiler free. Although he shares my views, he's like, well, I review movies, and I review them the day they come out. I can't ruin it for everybody. But he's like, yeah, if you haven't found out that fucking, Darth Vader is Luke's father or whatever, even if something's been out 6 months, he's like, go fucking see it or just shut the fuck up.
I feel like a good week is like a solid safe zone for that. Once you get past a week, especially on something current like a Game of Thrones or something like that, you're into safe territory.
Game of Thrones is the worst with the spoilers.
It's tough. Game of Thrones is tough.
Wednesday, I got HBO just to watch it in real time this season because like Wednesday's official spoiled Game of Thrones day.
Have you read the books, Jason?
Yeah. Which is...
I did building up to this season. I read them and finished them just as the new season was starting. And the only thing I will tell people is I was good until book 3 going, wow, they really stuck with it. And then everything fucking went.
Book 4 and 5 are disastrously worse than the first 3.
Yeah, book 4 isn't even a good book. So I'm glad they made changes.
See, we disagree there.
Wow, that's pretty much like a universal opinion. I'm surprised.
Yeah, I hated book 4.
I much prefer the storyline that's following than what the HBO series is following. I love them both; they're great, but I prefer. I guess I'm just that dick who has to be like, oh, it's not as good as the book.
Well, it's definitely not. But 4 and 5, I think, are weaker books than the first 3. And part of it's that he split it up and all that kind of nonsense, but.
Yeah, I'm wondering myself if he really needed to go into the whole, oh god damn it, my brain just locked. The whole Greyjoy clan and all of that.
Yeah.
If did he really even need to? But I kind of, I kind of am intrigued by that.
I wasn't. I was like, oh, it's a whole bunch of people in the Iron Islands that are gonna fight. One of them's gonna come out of it, and
you've wasted a lot of time.
We wasted 700 pages. He could have just wrote like there was a big fight in the Iron Islands and so won, and then moved on with the story.
Yeah,
but I like the idea that one of them is sailing across the fucking sea right now to go, try and fucking marry Daenerys Stormborn.
Again, 3 more sentences.
Targaryen Stormborn.
We don't need 700 pages on that.
Now you see, as a King fan, I think you would be used to that shit, man.
Yeah, I just finished 11/22/63.
I read it once a year. I got it when it came out. It's fucking. I'm afraid to watch the series.
We watched it. It was good. But I didn't read it, so obviously, place of ignorance. But it was fine. It wasn't amazing, but it wasn't bad. But
the book was good, but it was probably 200 pages he could have taken out of that.
There's 200 pages he could take out of anything that he writes.
Yeah, true. I mean, I read he sits down and he literally types 4 hours a day, whether he uses it or not. And judging by his books, he uses every word he writes every single day. But I guess that's a good method. He should send that message to George R.R. Martin.
Isn't most of his most successful stuff translated out of books into movies and TV from short stories, though?
Maybe
Shawshank's a short story, right?
Yeah.
Shawshank the novella. Sorry.
I mean, he got TV shows out of Under the Dome and 11/22/63.
Yeah.
Although Under the Dome,
but they're not as critically acclaimed as Shawshank.
Well, no, Under the Dome was a piece of shit.
So was the book too. The book pit. Like it was. I'm reading it. I read that fucker, And I read it twice just to make sure I wasn't mistaken. I didn't miss anything. Spoilers ahead, kids. We'll give you a second to shut your shit off. It's just that it was a great idea, a great premise, a great cast of characters. The worst fucking villain he's had in a long time, in Jim Remy and everything. And just, oh wow, how can this be more fucked up? And then the ending, he just fucking mailed it in.
He doesn't know how to end books. He knows how to write 95% of a book, and he just doesn't know how to end books. It was a good. How do you read an 1,100-page book a second time just in case? I want your free time. Could we trade? We got an email. thebrinkofsanity@gmail.com. This is from Kazim. This was actually a couple weeks ago. He wrote, E3 was just happened, and I was wondering what games you were most excited about coming out. Most promising, least excited about, who won the press conference. He says he thinks Sony won it, and God of War looks so good. Did you guys follow any of the E3 coverage?
No, but they're dropping a new God of War.
Yeah, God of War 4.
Which looks pretty good.
Are you guys? Well, I guess we should all start with if we're going to answer that question. Really, we talked PC, Apple earlier, Jason, you and I, before the show started. Mm-hmm. Are you guys console or PC, or are you Xbox? Are you PlayStation? Are you? I've got every one of them.
I am Xbox with a little bit of PC.
I am Xbox. I had a Wii U and I thought it was terrible, so I sold it. And now I'm on the fence about getting a PlayStation. You know what? Like, I know computer games, they're, you can do a lot more with them and they're graphically better. But when I'm playing a game, I want to relax. I want to watch it I want to play it on a big screen, and I want to sit on my couch. So that's why I'm not a big PC guy anymore.
What are you, John?
I was an Xbox fan, and always will be, because remember, kids, PlayStation their shit's been hacked. Microsoft's has not. But yeah, I actually Minecraft. I started playing Minecraft after giving my oldest son almost a year of shit about his electric Legos and all that. And then actually, because I would tell him, I'd be like, "Oh, are you having fun playing with your electric Legos instead of getting a job and working?" And he's like, "Yes, I am." And then I decided to try it, and I was like, because I didn't want to play on a PC. I grew up a console kid. I never played PC games. The PC we had in my house in the mid 80s was a Commodore VIC-20,
nice.
The whole 5K of RAM, and which we upgraded to the Commodore 64. The VIC-20 had a tape drive, though, kick-ass tape drive.
Commodore 64, arguably the best system of all time.
There's some really good games on there.
Yeah. That does hold a lot of nostalgia, but I've tried going back and playing some emulators and playing some of the games again. Actually, the one game I do like to still play was a VIC-20 game, and it was on a cassette tape, and it was called Sword of Fargol. Because I was a huge and this is like 8th, 9th grade for me, huge D&D nerd and everything like that. And then all of a sudden, here's my first experience with an actual RPG where you're crawling a dungeon and shit. Yeah. And wow, yeah, hours. Because all it was you were just, it was a dungeon crawler. The Sword of Fargol was hidden randomly between levels 60 and 70, and you just went level by level.
Just grind it out.
Yeah, you'd have to stay on a level or go back a couple levels every once in a while and grind it out to get yourself. You've all crawled dungeons. If you haven't, why are you even listening? Why are you even, we've gotten this far into it and you're still here and you're still struggling to understand, but you're not going to, because we're not going to explain it. But I don't know how many times I went and found that fucking sword. And but but after that, it was like, oh, well, we got a Nintendo and everything. And it's like, boom. Oh, this is the fucking best shit ever. But yeah, I got turned on 10 years ago, 8 years ago. To Minecraft and the PC, and I haven't played on anything since. And unfortunately, that is another reason why I haven't put any shows up lately. Sorry, kids. It's Pillars of Eternity. I don't know if anybody ever played Baldur's Gate 2.
Oh yeah.
But oh my God, Pillars of Eternity is it's the natural progression there. It was released last year, and it is It's got me thrown for a loop. I have a very
That's-
addictive personality, and I'm cracked out on that right now.
Isn't that by the same people who did like the enhanced versions of the Baldur's Gate games?
It's it was put out by Obsidian, and it was crowdfunded. 77,000 people funded that game to have it made. And if you're playing the game, everywhere in the world, in the dungeons and stuff, you'll run across little tombstone icons if they're appropriate for whatever you're in, and you can go click on them, and it will just have a whole list of names or whatever tag they wanted for their name of people who basically donated, period, like the low-level donations, and they get a little blurb of like 70 letters or less, 70 characters or less, and you can scroll through all that shit if you want. There's also 1,100 NPCs in the game. Spoiler alert: you can read souls. There's like that many these NPCs in the game. You can go up, and the only thing you do is you can read souls. So you walk up to these NPCs, it clicks pull their soul in or leave. And if you pull in their soul, you can read this little short story, 3 or 4 paragraphs about this particular person and perhaps a past life they had or what they currently are and all that. And it was written by the person who evidently donated whatever they considered their gold member package shit. Because it doesn't help you at all in any other way, shape, or form in the game. But they let these people who wanted this game so bad, right? And actually, some of the shit's pretty fucking well written. The entire game is well written. It's just if anybody out there is a huge RPG nerd and loved Baldur's Gate and not necessarily a big Dungeons and Dragons, it's not AD&D rules. I don't want you guys to get angry nerd emails. AD&D rules. It's its own system, but all they did was instead of AC, it's DR. Okay, the DR is damage reduction. If you can follow that, you can follow the rest of it. Try it.
All right.
Pillars of Eternity. If you guys did it, neither one of you would ever podcast again. I'm telling you, play the game.
I just ordered Dragon Age, which
Is that any good? Is that
The
serious?
newest one?
No,
Or
the first one, because I can't jump into the third one. I don't know. This guy I work with is like obsessed with those games, and it like the first one with both expansions was like $17. So
Yeah, first one's good.
okay. Most excited about. I'm still the most excited about Cuphead. I don't know if you guys have seen the previews for that.
I have. The one that looks like the 30s animation.
Yes,
Yes.
that is going to be so good. Have you seen that,
Do you
Rob?
think?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
I'm curious why you think it's going to be so good.
Well, it looks awesome.
It looks awesome, for sure.
2-player at the same time, which they don't do very much anymore. It's almost like a Contra with like really awesome animation.
Are we as nerds here? Are we allowed to say 2-player at the same time, or don't we have to say co-op?
We don't have to. We could.
All right.
Local co-op.
I had to think through, but I had to think through two players at the same time. I'm like, 2 players at the same time. What? Oh, come on.
Cuphead feels like a little like it lives in the same world that the whole No Man's Sky thing lives in, of like
Ooh.
of lofty expectations that in the end is going to be an amazing art style with just something that'll keep you entertained for 20 minutes.
Maybe. I hope I'm wrong. No Man's Sky.
I mean, everybody's hyped about it. Everybody seems to think that thing looks amazing.
It does look amazing. My only worry is that it was supposed to be like a boss rush game, and people wanted like actual stages. And I saw a gameplay of an actual stage, and that looked kind of generic. So now I'm a little worried. But we'll see.
Yeah, I didn't follow enough. I mean, I followed E3, but I felt like, again, like second year in a row, like half the information you're getting's VR stuff, which I'm not going to touch for years.
Yeah.
And then
if
the rest
ever.
of it was just predictable, stuff that you kind of assumed was coming down the pipes.
I feel like the VR stuff is going to be gimmicky, like
For years.
like the way the Wii was. Like, I don't know if you guys got the Wii. It was like super fun for like 2 weeks, and then you're like, oh, I could just wave this around, and I might win, I might lose. It's kind of gimmicky and not fun.
I'm a strong believer that in like 10 years, VR will be this incredible thing we're all going to want to do, but it's just going to take so long to get there. The stuff that they're showing now, I mean, it like tech demo barely describes it.
You know what it's going to be like? Do you guys remember the iToy?
Yeah.
It's going to be like that.
Right now.
Yes. Yeah.
Right.
It's going to be like, fun for a little bit. It's novel, but in the end, not really worth it.
I don't want to go backwards is the thing. Like, I don't want to, so my kids are big into Minecraft too. And until VR is essentially the exact same game as Minecraft, except you're walking around doing the stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Anything below that level, I want to pass until it's there.
Yeah. I agree.
Our Kinect is, we left the Kinect world with one successful game in our household, and that was that stupid ass Kinect party where they just stomp around in lava and knock over. It was not a game in any way, but it was at least a clever use for it. But my kids could not give two shits about that Kinect.
Yeah, I didn't mind Kinect Adventures for a week. Then I got sick of it.
Awful. It's so jank.
Face ever with anything. Most frustrating, most horrible to use interface to try to interact with your system, period. I have dogs, so Kinect.
It's thrown off. My kids would bring home games from the library, and the rage that instilled in me of knowing I was going to have to sit through. It's like a 20-minute process with kids to even get a Kinect game set up because the menus suck. You can't even get to the start button. By the time you do, the controls don't work. And then they think they're doing something wrong. And you're like, no, you're not doing anything wrong. This is just fucking the worst. Stop getting these games.
My girlfriend got 3 of those dance games. And
they were okay.
I couldn't get it to work. I don't know.
I think they were okay because they barely did anything. You're dancing. All they have to do is flash the word good or excellent on the screen. And you're like, yeah, this game's fucking rocking.
Oh, I never saw either of those words.
But did your girlfriend?
She did fine. She would put it on and do fine. It frustrated me because I'm really good at Dance Dance Revolution. I could do the hardest level on the hardest song, step on those arrows, and then we put on that game and I got all cocky and I fail every single song. I just can't do it. Something's just not clicking. I don't know.
That's because Dance Dance Revolution come from down here. Dance. You guys know where I'm going.
I see. Right. I need to get a house because I haven't been able to play Dance Dance Revolution in 10 years because I always have somebody below me. They don't want me stomping around for 3 hours a day.
What system do you have this pad on?
Well, here's the thing. I sold it. When I lost my job, I sold my PS1 and 2 and all the games and all the pads. I had the pads duct taped to a sheet of plywood so they wouldn't slide around. I was hardcore. I would do the mode where you had the 2 pads. You'd run back and forth between the 2 pads. But anyway, 2 weeks ago, this guy was having a yard sale, and he's like, oh, my son's too lazy to help me out, so I'm just selling a bunch of his shit. And he was selling a Dance Dance Revolution pad, so I bought it for $3 or something ridiculous. So now it's staring at me, and I want to play it again, but I know I can't until I move out of my shitty apartment. Also,
might want to get a couple more scratch basketball games under your belt too, just to kind of build the tolerance again.
Some more what?
Just a couple more basketball games under your belt, a little more running. You don't want to jump right into that, especially if you were at the point where you had your shit, taped up and everything to plywood.
Oh, kind of like I took 5 years off for grad school and then signed up for full court basketball.
Yeah, well, that's what I mean. Get a couple more of those because I'll guarantee you that Dance Dance Revolution will take more out of you than full court basketball.
I disagree. I could not move for 3 days after my first game. It was ridiculous. This week is week 3, so I think I'm starting to be okay with it. But that first week, my body was like, "Fuck you."
Wait, are you completely done now?
I am completely done now. So I signed up.
Oh my God, what's your life like?
Well, I signed up for a volleyball and a basketball league. I just went nuts and just signed up for a bunch of shit. So it's actually weird being social again and going out and doing things. It is so it's weird because if I get out of work at a normal time, then I have like the whole night free.
You got nothing. Yeah.
It seems weird because it's been years. Like I get home at 6 o'clock and I'm like, holy shit, I have like 4 or 5 hours to like do whatever I want.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's very strange. Although
you gotta knock out some kids and ruin that.
Yeah, I know. I'm thinking about kid and the CPA, so that'll just put an end to everything again. So I'm trying to like on the weekend. I'm like, I don't even call my friends. I just sit there. I'm like, I'm just gonna fucking beat a video game. I haven't beaten a video game in like 4 years. Fuck you guys. The beer will still be there like a couple months from now. So I've been just catching up on video games and stuff.
So what are you trying to beat right now?
This War of Mine. Have you heard of that?
Yes, yeah. I have, actually, yeah.
It's really good. It's very, very dark and depressing. It's like, I don't know if the war's still going on or post-war, but you're like a bunch of random people shacked up in a house, and you gotta like scrounge for food and materials and shit, and your house is under siege, and you gotta make all these different decisions to like just basically just exist for like a couple of months. Yeah, I'm like halfway through it. I think I don't know. It's very interesting because you get like moral choices you have to do. Like people, like a kid will come to your door like asking for food, and you may have like, 3 cans of food left for 4 people, and you're like, well, do I let this kid starve to death or do I give him one of my foods? And like, I don't know, it's interesting. But after I play it, I'm like drained. It's like it's like it's like emotional and sad. I need to play like a happy game next.
They need to use that. They need to use that game to start testing for androids, like they did in Blade Runner. And then you don't have to worry about somebody getting shot to death.
Right.
And then just let them play that game, and it's like, give the kid the food, or what do you mean? What do you mean? And boom, gas the chamber or whatever you got to do. He's out. If he shoots the computer, bring another one in, let him play the game. Next one up.
Well, I was like sick of scrounging for supplies and shit. So I went to this house, and I just killed everybody in it, and I took all their shit. And I was all excited. I'm like, oh my God, I got medicine, I got food, I got bandages, I'm all set. And then you come home, and the game is like, oh, this character's broken, and he just sits on the floor sobbing, and he won't like move, he won't get up, he won't do anything, and he's just mentally destroyed. And I'm like, okay, I guess you can't just be an evil bastard in this game.
Well, what's the point then?
Just want to shoot shit.
Yeah, no shit. I don't want. If I wanted moral shit, I'd go to church.
I went to a church. I stole a bunch of their shit too. It didn't work out. Let's see. Facebook questions. Gilliam writes, Pokemon Go. Have you tried it?
My kids definitely have.
Are they like totally obsessed with it?
No, I think we're definitely in the this is exciting for like a 3 to 4 day period, and it's already waning. It'll crop back up a couple times, but I think we're slowly backing out. It's convenient because they don't have. If it was on, it's on our phones. So like they have old iPhones like that were our old phones that just get passed down to them, but they don't have GPS. So it's not like they can like run around and do it on their own.
Right.
So they constantly have to bug us for it, which is like a very big barrier to entry for them at this point. So
it's almost like the game is more for adults because you do have to like run around and go different places and stuff.
Yeah, or like teens who are hanging at the mall or something.
Right. Yeah, it's definitely not. I feel like it's not really catered toward little kids.
It's also not by any stretch of the imagination a good game of any kind.
It's addicting though. I got hooked on it.
Did you really?
I did.
I mean, short of the collector mentality, which as a comic book person, etc., you fall under. Yeah. That's the game of catching them is terrible. Mm-hmm. There's nothing to do with them really once you catch them, unless you're like in the 1% that's like battling at gyms and stuff.
Right. Yeah. Definitely not in that.
It's barely a game.
It is. I don't know. I'm just like.
What is it? How much are you paying to play it?
$0.
It's free?
Yeah, it's free.
Too bad it's about exercising because fuck that. I've played tons of Pokemon and I love Pokemon.
Oh, if it had the like Pokemon.
I can still say that the worst boss in anything I've ever played was Sabrina, the fucking psychic gym leader in the card game for the Game Boy Color. Fuck her, fuck her, fuck her, fuck her.
That's the worst thing about it, though, that it doesn't have any of the things that were cool about Pokemon. Like,
well, that's what I mean. And it's got exercise. I didn't get fucking fat by chasing Pokemon in real life. I got fat by sitting in front of my fucking Game Boy and shit.
But like when you find the Pokemon, it's not like you're doing the whole, here's my 4 battle moves and here's what I can do to win this fight. You're just flicking. You ever play one of those games on the iPhone where you like throw a piece of paper into the trash can?
Yeah. No, but I know what you talk about. I know what you're talking about. Where you
that's the game.
Yeah, make it rain.
There's no moves. There's no like old Pokemon had some good tactical like, oh shit, should I do this or should I do this level stuff? This has none of that. Absolutely none of it.
No energy types. No. What?
You
if
can
you
evolve.
flick the ball into the trash can, you caught the Pokemon.
You can evolve them.
Well, what? Oh, you can't battle them though, really.
Well, yeah, there's gyms where you fight each other.
Yeah, but explain. You're hiding a
I
major
heard only 1% get in the gyms, and I'm not one of the 1%.
The gym battles are still licks, like left. You're dodging left and right and tapping to attack. And you're not actually playing the real person. You're playing like the AI version of their Pokemon.
Right.
So you're playing Super Punch Out against them.
Barely, but yeah. It wishes it was Super Punch Out against them.
No shit, right? That's a shame. I don't feel like I'm missing anything, man.
I've never played a Pokemon game before.
You are in a good location for it. I will say that. Because it's all based on like how many cell phones are around you. And I mean, you obviously couldn't be in a better spot.
Well, I work in the World Trade Center, and there's 2 Pokestops right outside the building. So basically, they just spawn like right in front of me all day. So
yeah, that helps.
Yeah, that does help.
Hey, since he brought up Punch Out, are you going to bring up that Nintendo?
Yeah,
the mini NES.
Yeah, George writes thoughts on the new NES Mini coming out. Anybody?
What do you think?
I think it's a good selection of games. There's 30 games on a new mini NES. I like how you can hook it up to a new TV. My complaint is that it's set. Like, it doesn't seem like there's a way to add games to it.
They said there's no Wi-Fi, there's no internet connection whatsoever. So it's locked. That's it.
And no accessible storage.
And
yeah.
Because
I mean, I'm sure somebody will figure out a way to like hook up ROMs to it in some roundabout way. But I mean, if you're going to do that, you may as well use a laptop.
Yeah, because honestly, for like 100 megs, you could probably put every single Nintendo game ever on it.
I can tell you the answer to that right now if you want me to.
Am I in the ballpark?
I'm all set up with emulators, and I love doing emulation and am into it. That said, at $60, like I know most people aren't into that. Mm-hmm. Yeah, my entire NES ROM folder is 40 megabytes, and there's like 200 games in there.
I think there's like maybe 600 games total. So yeah, like 100 megs pretty much covers the whole thing.
But I mean, if you're somebody, that game selection is pretty damn good for. Here's a system that for $60 you can plug in, play. Doesn't have to deal with any of the bullshit of emulating, which can be a pain in the ass. Mm-hmm. If it had RBI baseball, I would 1,000% already be sold. That's like the one thing missing on that list that killed me.
The one that I like that they included is Kid Icarus. Actually.
Oh, Kid Icarus is great.
I love that game, but I never got anywhere in it.
It's so hard.
Incredibly hard, yes.
It's irrationally hard.
Yeah.
For such a stupid game.
We last summer we went to Vegas, and this one of the guys for a bachelor party. One of the guys brought his Wii U, and another guy rented a cabana by the pool all day. And so we hooked up the Wii U into our cabana and just sat in there and played Nintendo all day. And he bought all the old games, and we were trying to play Kid Icarus, and nobody could get anywhere.
So hard. So are there any things missing from the list for you guys that you thought would be awesome?
I don't really think so. I was happy to see that they went all the way to Super Mario Brothers 3, which I destroyed and made my bitch.
Double Dragon 2 is one of my favorite Nintendo games, which is nice.
Yep, that's a great game.
But I mean,
Got Technical, that's a big one.
yeah. But I mean, like Contra and Life Force are like two of my favorite games.
What's it got? It doesn't have like Super Contra or something.
Yeah, I think it has Super Contra.
I could be fine with that.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's a great selection of games. They got a wide variety, and it's not like usually when you get like I don't know, Atari Classics or Namco Museum, like half the games are absolute trash.
Oh yeah.
And this one actually almost all of them are good. So it's a good selection. I wish
And
they
it's
came
Nintendo. Like a lot of times those are third party, which makes it even more like, dear God, do I really want to buy this? But
Yeah.
I feel like the hardware should be fairly good.
Yeah. I just wish there was a way to add to it.
Actually, my one bitch is that I've looked at it and it corded controllers.
Yeah, that sucks. I know that sucks.
I like the whole throwback feel and everything, but I do, like having a remote to play with.
We're not savages.
Yeah.
If
My
the
goddamn
wire-
mouse doesn't even have a fucking cord on it.
If the wire is long enough, I'm not totally against that.
What are you gonna do, John? Like, do your kids get into old games like that?
Well, actually, I have. I've been married to the same woman, but my kids are quite a ways apart. I've got two that are. What year is this? Like 22 and 24 or something like that. And it's 12. And everybody always thinks like, "Oh, you've been divorced?" And no. That's just I got laid off for a year. We'd been trying, thought, "Oh, we can't do it," and then here she comes when I don't have a job. That was 12 years ago, kids. Everything's fine now. We only had to sell a few of her toes and fingers to get. But no, my boys, you got to figure my oldest was born in 92. So,
Caught the tail end of it.
Yeah, he caught the tail end of that. Mostly his big awakening was, Mario Kart. Mario Kart. He was young enough, and he always loves when I share this story. I was always Wario because, of course, if I'm a Wario, I'm going to win. And he would cry if I was not Princess Peach. I mean, get visibly upset and throw a fit if I was playing Mario Kart and I would not be Princess Peach. And, of course, we all know Princess Peach sucks in Mario Kart. I'd rather be fucking Toad. You're better if once you learn how to steer, once you learn how to do the curves and everything, go with the heavier character, kids. The time and investment that you put into it. Go with the heavier character because you hit Toad or somebody ahead of you, they spin out because you're bigger. Sure, you don't have the fastest takeoff speed, but just learn to fucking drive. All right. I'm not even going to charge anyone for that. There you go. Some insider pro tips for a game that's, God, how old now? That would have been...
Well, that's a ways old, yeah.
Yeah, 97, 98. Ugh. My bad. I didn't mean to go off on a nostalgia trip for the 64 when we were talking about the little NES.
It's all related.
And I'm just pissed that they put cords on it. I saw somebody too was posting on the Brink of Sanity Facebook page about fuck that. I want cartridges with it. Why? Why would you want? I like that it's not cartridges. You know what I don't have to do with any of my digital games? I don't have to fucking go and fucking blow on them half the time to get them to fucking work.
Not only the blow on them, but I've finally entered the level of laziness of, like, I always fell under the pretty cheap gamer tag of, I'm going to wait till this Tomb Raider goes down to $20 and pick it up then. Mm-hmm. But now I'm like getting real used to fucking buying. I'll pay $10 extra for the cheap version of it digitally just so I don't have to get off the fucking couch. I mean, if it's a game I'm going to play a significant amount, I do not want to have to put that disc in.
Well, there's also storage space. Who wants to have like shelves and shelves of games?
I have none. They're all hidden. Yeah.
And I mean, it also the with the cartridges, it's just like with the older games, they're not 100-hour games. Like a lot of them, you'll play for like 20 minutes and be like, okay, that's cool. What's next? So, I've had friends over. We play retro games, and there's like a pile of games on the floor. By the end of the night, we're getting up and down, switching games, and you don't need all that.
I mean, the only reason we played those games for weeks on end when we were kids is because we had fucking nothing else.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, there's no excuse for sitting there in front of Mega Man for 4 weeks now.
That's why we were able to find every nook and cranny without a strategy guide, because we had nothing better to do. We were playing the same level over and over and over again.
But now if I buy a game on Steam for $5, I'm like, fuck this after 13 minutes.
Yeah, well, that, or if, like, I'm stuck, I'm like, I don't have time to be stuck. I'm just going to look at it, be unstuck.
Here we go, YouTube. Yeah.
I mean, I don't necessarily like doing that, but also, like, I'm an adult. I have shit to do. I can't, like, and some of the stuff's unreasonable. Like Castlevania 2 with the going up on a cliff with a red ball and kneeling down for 20 seconds. Like, that's just unreasonable.
Like with anything, like, I'm halfway to dead at this point. If I can't find the switch I got to pull in a Tomb Raider map at this point in my life, I'll give it 30 minutes of, like, giving it the old college try. Mm-hmm. After that, I'm just fucking burning minutes. This is going nowhere.
Right. Exactly. That's why I stopped with all the achievements. It's like,
oh, forget that.
I just go, I beat a game. If I get achievements, that's awesome. If it's slightly out of the way, I'll do it. But if it's going to cost me like 10 hours to get 20 achievement points, I'm done with that. Hey,
John, I got to ask you this since I'm going backward. So you're pretty deep in Minecraft, it sounds like.
Oh, I was. It's a good thing I'm not back into Minecraft now, because there wouldn't even be any random ass radio at all, because I was into Minecraft.
Are you living in that, like, mods world?
Yes. Yeah, I'm a mod guy with that. That's what turned me on to PC. I'm like, oh, wow, you can get games. Oh, wow, you can do shit like this with games. And we're talking about, you're 40 now. I was, 38, 39 years old, and all of a sudden realized, oh, this is what PC gaming's all about. Late in life, I hit it. Now I can't get away from it.
All right, can I ask you, Jay, this is going to be a show killer, but I'm going to ask it anyway. What do you do? So my kid is, like, all into these Minecraft mods, and I am, like, PC savvy enough to install them and competent on that level. But, like, how are you managing your whole setup of, like, I had a whole folder of mods, but then you load one version, it's like, nope, can't do it. Don't like this one, this one, this one, this one, this. Like, are you moving stuff in and out of that folder? How are you working that?
No, I've got oh, fuck. It's been so long since I played now. I can't remember the name of it. I had an installer, and it was a launcher that you could use. Technics.
And it switches all that stuff for you?
Yeah, go to technicslauncher.com.
How do you spell Technics? I'm all over this. You might literally change my life here.
TECHNICS. Technicslauncher.com. And then what they have is they have all kinds of mod packs and everything else that, of course, you can download, and then you run Technics launcher, and it's already in there. That's what I was playing with, were these Attack of the B Team. Attack of the B Team is a great fucking mod pack. It's just all the weird off the wall shit people have come up with for mods that were actually entertaining and don't break your game.
So you're not having to worry about loading that thing up and it's saying this one's not compatible with this. It's covering you on all that.
Things. Most of those
mods, oh my God, I love you. You're the greatest.
To where they don't break. Yeah, Technics. I'd just be glad that I remembered that because
honestly, that's a life changer, because I've been in near tears at the computer just wanting to be done with helping him on that and failing miserably. And I have, like, just enough OCD that I can't just hang it up and be like, sorry, buddy, I can't figure it out. So that's huge.
Yeah, this shit's not smarter than me.
Sorry, Jay, I know your audience is just fucking riveted by this Minecraft mod.
No, that's all right. I took a bathroom break while you were talking about Minecraft.
Ooh, I'm going to slip away for a second. See you, girls.
Let's see. Andrew writes, have you guys taken over any Pokemon gyms? I took one over the other day, and then 5 seconds later, a car literally came screeching around the corner and wanted back. People are nuts with this game. It's really fun.
Game is. I'd imagine anywhere near where you are, like, you can't go into those gyms and battle, right? You're a normal person.
Exactly. I got trolled the other day, though. I walk past one and I see a gym and I look and there's like a level 60 character, which is like nothing. And so I go in there, I beat it, and you get we put 3 characters in a gym.
Wait, what level are you?
I was like level 500, so I'm like, oh,
holy shit!
No, you catch them like that. Not my trainer is like level 15, but
okay.
the Pokemon you catch, like you could catch them at like 400.
Okay.
So I beat the level like 20 something with like my level 500, and I'm like, oh cool. The next guy comes up and it's like level 1800, and he like one hits me. The guy did that just to like rope people in to beat them. It's like, you're a dick. I've never even seen a character that high.
You can't, as a person over the age of 18, you can't compete in that game.
You can't compete when it's like a time-based game, not like a skill-based game. You can't compete with anybody. There's always somebody who ruins it.
Shit to do.
Yeah. I have a friend who he's a photographer, so like, you know, he basically works for himself. He was on his character was on level 20 like the second day it came out.
When he's probably traveling around too, which helps.
Yeah. He walks around on foot, so he gets everywhere. I don't know. It's crazy. I mean, you saw that video of like hundreds of people at Central Park at like 1 in the morning. Oh yeah,
that was awesome.
I mean, people.
It's like parking in the middle of the street to run out there and do it.
I got to say, it is a phenomenon though. Like I live in Astoria, Queens, and I walk around and literally every block there's groups of people.
Just packs, yeah.
It's like every single block.
Is any company more fucking backward ass lucky than Nintendo?
Seriously.
Like every time you have just completely decided these fucking idiots are done.
Mm-hmm.
Like they have finally wasted their last good breath of air on Nintendo games. They're gonna go. Then all of a sudden, they fucking put out the most popular. It's like Wii U or not Wii U, the first Wii all over again.
Yeah. And all they did was copy Ingress, but like make it slightly better.
But it's better timing. You know what I mean?
Well,
like
that
Ingress
was
so far ahead of its time. And Pokemon's got like the nostalgia level to do that.
Exactly. They took everything that was like, you know, kind of boring about Ingress and like slightly improved it to like add the addiction factor to it.
How are they not just like I hope to God there's frantic meetings of like a bunch of dudes in Japan at Nintendo going, you know, this NX thing, whatever the fuck this is going to be, why don't we just scrap this and put everything on mobile?
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised.
The ultimate mobile company that refuses to be mobile.
Yeah. Yeah, they've sucked at consoles for like 10 years, but they're mobile. They nail it. I mean, even the handhelds, like,
yeah,
you know.
But they don't really need them anymore. Like, they don't need to put out a DS anymore. They can just rake on software.
Yeah.
I mean, nobody could do that near as well as they do.
They made $8 billion in 48 hours. Yeah.
There's more concurrent users on that stupid fucking game than Twitter.
Yeah.
I mean, granted, Twitter's a fucking burning pile of garbage at this point, too.
But like, everyone's on Twitter. Like, that's just insane.
I mean, it really, it's frightening how fast that turned.
If I knew that game was coming out, I would have bought stock in Nintendo, because it's like, if there was any get-rich-quick scheme, that was it.
Have you ever had like a real situation? Do you ever buy stocks? You're like a money guy.
No, but here's the thing. When I switched jobs, like the stock in my, that was like through the plan of my old company, like kind of got released. And I don't know what to do with it. And I have a lot of money just sitting there, not in any stocks, but like locked up in Charles Schwab. So
right,
like,
where you could move it to something?
Right, so I need to move it to something. I don't know what to do. And it's like, I think it's almost like $10,000. I need to just put it in something.
Do you know how to do that stuff?
No, I know nothing about it. That's why I'm afraid. That's why
I figured you knew more than I do, because you're like, it's kind of in that world at least.
No, they don't like teach
I'll do like Charles Schwab would do. You give me $8,000 of that, and I'll show you where to put it, where it can make you money.
I'm like terrified. I'll like put it into something and then it tanks and I just lose all the money.
I had just like rounded that corner in life where, I mean, not that we don't have a lot of money by any stretch, but I had rounded that corner where you don't have to think about every single purchase you ever make in your life.
Mm-hmm.
And it's right around the time that, so Stern was already on Sirius, but Sirius was tanking. I mean, their stocks had gone like, they were down to like 2 cents per share, up from like their like $2 status, which is nothing. But I was like, you know what? Stern's right. This fucking is gonna work. And I was like, I had convinced myself, my wife. I'm like, I'm gonna buy like $2,000 worth of stock in Sirius. Like, why not? Because you know, it's not like that's like nothing for us to throw around, but it's at 2 cents. If it even goes up to anything, great, sell it and get out of it. And then I fucking pussied out on it. And of course, like 6 months later, it's up to like $4. I'm like, motherfucker. Like, I don't know anything about that world, but I regret that.
Yeah, those are the kind of things where like you'll just lie awake at night and be like, God damn it, why didn't I do that?
But I knew in the back of my head it was all based on the fact that I liked Howard Stern. And that didn't seem like enough of a reason to believe in the math of this. So I was like, smart people know what they're doing. It must not be worth anything.
I mean, not necessarily smart, but successful. He's successful at what he does.
Right.
And he's always been able to call it. That's been his thing. So I would, yeah.
When he's betting on himself at that point, so it barely matters.
Let's see, Andrew writes, what Pokemon faction are you? I'm Valor. Steven writes, are there any drinking games that make Uncanny X-Cast enjoyable for people who don't like or know anything about the X-Men?
Oh, God.
Why would you listen then? Why would you go out and pick a podcast that was named the Uncanny X-Cast and listen to it, especially if you already had in your mind, I don't know anything about what he's going to talk about, and I need a drinking game.
In fairness, our podcast is probably as much about the X-Men as your podcast is about the X-Men at this point. So there's probably ways to maneuver that, but I don't know if I would suggest it.
Hey, you're killing the mystique.
Yeah, I mean, he probably likes you on this podcast and wants to like get into yours. I mean, I would say not knowing anything about the X-Men isn't a problem, but if you like actually actively don't like them, then that's
that'll be a problem.
Yeah, that'll be a problem.
You could listen to like the first half and then turn it off.
Right. Yeah. Listen to the first 45 minutes, and then when the comic,
because that's basically this.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. But if you want to get into them, then you could, read along, and then get into it that way.
How far into your reread are you?
I am in March of 2011.
What do you, without getting specific, what do you have, digital versions of all this?
Most of it. Every once in a while, I'll go on eBay and I'll find a run of like 40 issues for, like $30 or something. And I'll like, oh, okay, I'll get that. But, I'm not buying like Chaos War X-Men, which was...
No, God, no. I mean, most of it's garbage.
That was literally the worst thing I've ever read, by the way.
That's awful. Awful. What, this is a little off topic, if you don't mind.
Mm-hmm.
Have either of you watched Stranger Things on Netflix yet?
Yes. Oh God. I'm sorry.
Okay, good. That's the kind of reaction I was looking for here. That show is amazing.
Yeah, well, actually, we've got about 5 years between us, right?
Yeah.
I'm 45. I've never seen anything that fucking just nailed the 80s without sucking. You know what I mean? It's
brilliant. I can't even talk about it. The level of perfection to homage on that show is greater than almost anything I've ever seen in my life.
Exactly.
I mean, down to camera moves, down to like the thing that got me hooked on that show. This is a very non-spoiler thing. Have you finished it?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Have you watched it, Jay?
No, I've never even heard of it.
Oh my God, you got to get on this.
It's on Netflix.
So, yeah, it's on Netflix. Just maybe like a week ago, and it's basically like, in its base level terms, the greatest like Spielberg homage of all time. But it goes way wider than Spielberg.
It's like if Stephen King wrote The Goonies and didn't put the pirate shit in it.
Yeah, that's fair. That's actually very fair. Do you remember the breakfast table scene in the first episode where the kid like is pouring syrup on his eggs and then he puts it on his sister's eggs and they're yelling at each other, but the mom's on the phone talking about the main kid,
right?
The main plot line. Like, you don't see shit like that ever anymore. Like, the breakfast table arguing scene is a lost art to the 80s. And they, like, just to know that small fat, like, that show is so good.
I'm so glad it's going to come back too, at least for one more season.
Oh, it's the happiest the show has ever made me.
I can't think of the girl who played Eleven's name, but I actually saw her in a short-lived BBC series that was actually pretty good in my opinion, called Intruders.
I hadn't heard of that.
Well, she basically played almost the same kind of thing. It's that our souls are a lot of souls. We don't ever there's just a finite number of souls that are around. And when you die, you just forget who you were before. So it's kind of like reincarnation, but some people have awakenings and can teach themselves and have people in place to help them remember that they're the same soul and therefore manipulate people throughout life. And she happens to be the vessel for one of these souls. She's born and everything. She's a vessel for the soul, and she hits about, well, what is she in that in Stranger Things? She's 12, so she was about like 9 or 10 in this show. Just this sweet little 9 or 10-year-old girl with kind of shark teeth on the side, and she all of a sudden remembers that she's like, oh my God, I'm this soul that's been around for 1,000 years, and she's kind of a serial killer too. So it's
wow.
Yeah, it was pretty badass, but it got canceled. It was BBC. I think guys, Orphan Black is better than anything else that's out there, kids. But I really, really like her. My wife too. She's like, oh God, yeah, 11. She can't wait for more 11. And I'm thinking, spoilers. Oh, you know what? Jay's listening, so I'm not gonna give any spoilers. My bad. Jay, you should watch this. Watch Stranger Things.
It's great.
It'll change your life.
If you love like 80s, what's the right word? Adventure movies, like teen,
like Adventures in Babysitting.
I mean, it's as much Adventures in Babysitting as it is Poltergeist or Flight of the Navigator, or like it kind of like encompasses that whole universe.
Okay, sounds
the
good.
Goonies reference minus pirates is very apt.
I've been meaning to get Netflix again for the Mr. Show reboot.
Which is actually better than I thought it would ever be. I was kind of worried about that. I mean, it's been a while. And even though I love Odenkirk and I love Cross, you just kind of got to worry about that stuff.
It's hard to go home again.
Yeah, but I was not disappointed.
Oh, those guys are geniuses. I wasn't too worried.
Yeah, I'm David Cross and David Cross stand-up is just, I've never... I think there's nobody who really can hate their audience more than David Cross does, but not come across like he hates you.
Yeah, I saw him live a few months ago, and yeah, you kind of get that impression.
Yeah, could you see the disdain in his eyes and everything?
Yeah.
But he is funny. He's funny as shit. Funny as shit.
Steven writes, I spent $969 on Rainbow Six Siege DLC and microtransactions.
Whoa.
Thoughts?
That's terrible and sad.
Does he donate to the show?
No.
He should. He's got like expendable cash. Clearly.
Yeah, exactly.
You're a fan. You can't even like spare 100 of that so Jay doesn't have to wear these fucking shitty beats that he got from his girlfriend.
I'm
the fuck.
I'm selling Brink shirts for $8, and you spend almost $1,000. You know.
Oh, that makes me so sad.
That's.
It does. Like, I feel every time I read those articles about, like, even the developers will come out and be like, well, as long as like 0.05% of our audience, like that's where we get most of our free to play money from. And then you do the math on that and they're like, oh God, that means they spent $1,200 on Bubble Witch.
Right.
And you're just like, fuck, that's sad.
I mean, I don't
like,
get
and
it.
I'm like one of the least empathetic people on the planet, and I find that sad.
I just don't get it because it's like skins for a gun in a first-person shooter. Like, you're not staring at your gun like while you're playing. Nobody else is impressed that your gun is a different color. Like, I just don't understand the whole thing.
And it goes away. It's not like
the real, what is that? What's the other game called? Not Real Life, but I mean, it's a Sims thing. It's what was the one that was real big where you bought
Second Life.
Second Life, yeah. And I actually like The Sims. I've been playing The Sims 4 on and off over the last couple years.
Sims 4 is a great game.
But yeah, I would never. I've always been that guy. Maybe since my Sword of Fargoal days, even Sword of Fargoal, which gave my little 8th grade.
This is a funny name for a game.
That is a terrible name for a game. It sounds so bizarre.
Sword of Fargoal.
I gotta look this up. I'm looking it up now. How do you spell Fargoal?
Fargoal, Fargoal. It's just like it sounds. Sword.
Did you play like the old like gold box Dungeons and Dragons?
Yes.
Oh, those were the best.
My God, I just
bought
really
those on
dated
good old
myself
games to
with
replay.
Goldbox. Fuck.
Those are so good.
Well, yeah, because I didn't hear something that you millennials probably haven't heard of, but they're called bookstores, and that's where I bought my AD&D supplies and my D&D supplies.
See, now I could get into like the people I like in the world are like if you're the guy who's buying like die-cast miniatures because you've been playing D&D for 20 years and you've got a campaign and you're going to use them over and over and this is how you do it. Like spend your money on dumb shit, people. I am all for that. But $1,000 on Rainbow Siege, like we are 6 months away from no one ever loading that game again.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like that is just so sad.
He told me that he's played it over 200 hours, so he justifies it by saying it's only $4 an hour. But that's like, I don't know. To me, it's like you could have paid 25 cents an hour
And still played that long.
right. Like, why pay $4 an hour when you could pay 25 cents an hour?
You could have just like paid me $1 an hour to hit you with a hammer that many times, and you're gonna have the same end result because it's Tom Clancy's Rainbow Six. Who gives a fuck?
Yes,
Sort of Fargoal is raw.
Right? I'm telling you, dude, that was the shit. That was my first experience with something outside of pencil and paper, man. I was like, oh my God, this is where it's going.
Oh, I
and like I said,
like
now that you see my early upbringing with that, can you understand why I have 18 episodes that have not been uploaded yet because I'm playing fucking Pillars of Eternity?
Jay, make me a promise that at one point me and John can be on an episode again, and I promise I will play Sword of Fargoal before that happens.
absolutely.
You know what? I used to have it on an emulator. I played it not too long ago, but I'll play it again.
Oh,
Yeah,
shit,
it would be hard to find.
It was made by Epix.
Yeah, they're legit.
They did Jumpman, which is like one of my all-time favorite like retro games.
And Jumpman,
Jumpman's great.
I had Jumpman Jr. on Coleco. Actually, I still have it at my dad's house, and I play it whenever I go home. But love Jumpman Jr.
California games.
Oh yeah,
And the G.I. Joe game.
Jumpman Jr. is
Oh,
probably
Impossible Mission? Epix is fucking killing it,
yeah,
people.
yeah. Jumpman Jr. is probably a top 10 all-time game for me.
Ooh,
Well, they did all the street sports games. Remember those?
Oh yeah. Steven writes, "There's an NES game called Werewolf: The Last Warrior. It's fucking awesome, and all the bosses are ripped straight out of the X-Men. Literal copyright infringement. Best NES game." Have you guys seen
Never
that?
heard.
I did some research into it after he asked this question, and there is like a Magneto, a Juggernaut, and like a Doctor Strange that just show up in the game. and I read somewhere that they thought it was going to be an X-Men game, but they couldn't get the rights, so they just said,
Oh, wow.
they just said fuck it and like just changed the names. Like Juggernaut is called like Ironhead, but it's literally like Juggernaut. I want to get my hands on that game. He also writes, favorite Tom Clancy game.
Did somebody just ask what's your favorite Tom Clancy game?
Yeah.
None of them.
Favorite Tom Clancy game to spend $1,000 on?
I think I like the first Splinter Cell.
I've never played a Tom Clancy game.
They're new. They have that new. That was one of the things at E3 I thought looked cool. That the Tom Clancy Wildlands.
Never even
It's
heard
basically like a 4-player. Like I get into like 4-player. We're all on the same team shooter kind of thing.
of that. Yeah.
And it's one of those big
Okay.
open world. It's like Far Cry, but 4 Tom Clancy people running around.
I think I'm done with open world.
For Dead. I mean, minus the zombies and shit.
Wait, what game?
So more Far Cry than Left 4 Dead. You know what I mean, cooperative wise, or
Yeah, more Far Cry. Like more just like let's fly over here and take out this base kind of deal.
yeah, right on.
Oh, Left 4 Dead. That's a good game though.
I think I'm done with open world.
Yeah, I get it.
It's it's like, I don't know. I don't have time to like just walk around looking for shit to do. I want to walk to the right. I want shit to come up in front of me. And I want to deal with it. I don't know. I think it's down to the too busy thing again.
They take forever. They do.
I don't know. I don't want to spend 100 hours on a game. I want to spend like 10 hours, beat the game, and move on to something else.
Really? See, because I like the games that you spend 100 hours on.
I feel like there's really like 20 hours of content in a 100-hour game.
And then filler.
Yeah, most of it's like, hey, I scattered all this shit around. Why don't you go pick it up, and we'll call that content.
Like, John, what are the long games short of Minecraft that you like now?
Actually, I was just gonna. I know I've blamed everything on Pillars of Eternity and Tokyo Ghoul, but there were 2 other games that popped up in my life, and the first one I'm not embarrassed about. It was Axiom Verge.
Oh yeah,
Metrovania clone, and it's the greatest fucking clone ever. I just like, oh wow, I played the fuck out of that. And then I came across a little gem known as Stardew Valley.
Oh, this show's about to go off the rails, Jay. If you haven't played this.
I lost myself in that game. I got, for some reason, I felt, you know what? While I'm playing this game, because when I play games, I like to have my own soundtrack. I'm like, you know what? For this game, I need a bunch of classical music. I mean, I need a shitload of diverse classical music to play behind while I'm playing it. So I feel that I've made myself smarter by playing it. But yeah, that was actually the beginning of me not having time to edit and put up shows, because I started with Stardew Valley, which, for those of you who have not played it, it's a lot like Animal Crossing and a little like Farmville. Pretty much.
But it's so good.
It's fucking amazing, and it's 8-bit amazing, kids. It's just retarded. Can I use
somehow like the story's good, and I find myself like getting a great deal of satisfaction about like I just recently got a sprinkler system. That was a big fucking day for me. I was
amazing.
And then my son's playing it, and he installs all the cheats on it, and I'm like, you stupid motherfucker. You are ruining this game for yourself. Like, you got to earn that sprinkler. You can't just cash in cheats and get that stuff. What are you doing?
Yeah, get him off the instant gratification until
I'm not a fan. I know. I don't like it. That's what the Minecraft mods did to him.
One of my favorite games I ever played until the moment I put cheats on it was Turok Dinosaur Hunter.
Oh, I love that game. Even though the controls were so bad, but it was a great game.
It was such a racist, horrible game, but it was so good.
I remember my
Turok.
My friend from freshman year of college, he had that in the dorm, and he was one of the only ones that had an N64. And he, for some reason, he bought the N64, but was cheaped out on a memory card. And so he said, "I'm going away for the weekend. Don't leave it on all weekend." And we're like, motherfucker, you didn't buy a memory card. So we literally like took shifts playing it like overnight, 24 hours a day for like, that thing was on like 72 straight hours.
Is gaming in a dorm the pinnacle of gaming?
Pretty much. Because like the way it was in our dorm,
I took a big hit after that.
I'm assuming it was the same as yours. Like you left your door open. So like people would walk past and see you playing and like pop in. And
oh, we had poster boards outside the door with like sign-ups for tournaments on stuff. I mean, that was the best.
Yeah. Just missed out on Smash Brothers. I think I was just about done when that came out.
Yeah, I was before that too.
What are your thoughts on Smash Brothers, Rob?
I'm like just slightly ahead of that. So I was slightly ahead of that. My kids were way behind it, so I kind of almost missed the boat entirely. I've played it at this point, and I think it's like really cool, but I couldn't play it, not even competitively, but like well. at all at this point, and they passed my kids by, so I don't really have any concrete. It's cool. I like the idea.
Yeah, I like the idea. My two oldest boys play it. Jay and I have had this discussion before. He, of course, is a huge fan. My boys are huge fans. And
they would have grown up in the
play it, just
right
play it.
in the spot. Yeah.
Yeah, but it doesn't. I don't know. That has never done anything for me. And there are so many people that tell me, "Dude, you just play it. Just play it." What, I have played it. It doesn't work. It doesn't work for me.
I maxed out the minutes in that game. It went up to 10,000 and it just got stuck at 9999.
So you just caught it, age-wise.
Yeah. It was like, I think Melee, which is the one I was obsessed with, came out like senior year of college, and
that's perfect. Yeah.
And then I got it, and then I stayed in Boston 1 year after college, and I lived with 4 other guys, and we would just come home from work and play for like 3 hours, like taking shifts, beating the shit out of each other.
That's the best.
And that was when I ended up on MTV's True Life, the I'm a Gamer episode.
What?
Yeah. I played the guy who was the gamer, and he beat the living shit out of me. I was like, because I played a lot, probably like 2-3 hours a day. And I was like, dude, how often do you play? And he's like, like 12, 13 hours a day. Okay.
Wait, is this on YouTube?
Yeah, I'll send you a link if you want.
Please send me a link to this. This is amazing. I've never heard this. This is so fantastic.
I mean, I like, you only see me in like a couple seconds in like 3 different parts, but
that's still amazing.
Yeah.
Jay got served.
I did. Do we have any more questions? Steven writes, any of you guys play the new Doom yet?
No, but I heard that it's... you know what I am playing right now, though, in between bouts of Stardew Valley and Pillars of Eternity. And Civilization 5. Fuck, why didn't anybody ever tell me about the Civilization games? I'm playing Doom 3 BFG edition right now, too.
I was always a Quake guy.
You know what? I love Quake for the Nine Inch Nails soundtrack and everything else, but I can't... I like Doom.
I was on Unreal Tournament, and then I couldn't get into Quake. I was too slow.
Steven again, best real-time strategy of all time. My answer is StarCraft Brood War. I'm going to go with Command & Conquer Generals.
That's good.
Jay and I have discussed this, even though I do love Civilization 5 and last year's Endless Legend, which is Civ 5 on Alien Crack. Populous is probably my favorite.
Oh, that was great.
The Genesis one, yes.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Definitely the Genesis one, not the NES abortion. Yes.
I'm probably an Age of Empires 2 guy.
Are those good? I keep seeing those pop up, and
They're less. Okay, so I'll answer your question with a question. How hard, if I've never played a Civ game ever, like how daunting would loading Civ 5 be?
Oh, not.
It's not bad at all?
No, it's not bad.
Okay. Like Age of Empires is really, it's like StarCraft light almost.
See, I never jumped on that one either. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Age of Empires is like create units, move them to the right place, fight, repeat over and over and over again.
Oh, okay, cool.
I miss real-time strategy.
I was never good at them, but I do too.
I mean, I know they're still around, but it used to be like the thing to play. I don't know. I like those a lot. Steven writes, name one game you wish wasn't canceled. Mine is Beyond Good and Evil 2.
I never played that.
And he also liked to get his hands on StarCraft Ghost. I don't know if I could think of a game that I was really looking forward to that just got canceled.
Yeah, I can't think of any either.
Earthworm Jim 5.
Donkey Kong 3 was in development by Coleco when that went out. Most disappointing game development studio closure.
Any of them. Them motherfuckers had jobs.
Epic.
I'm real bad at. I never know who is who and that stuff.
Yeah, that is the same here. I don't.
I could probably say LucasArts just because I like Maniac Mansion so much.
See, I got an emulator for Day of the Tentacle, which is the sequel, and the voices didn't work. The music worked and the sound effects worked, and the voices didn't. And I didn't know that was a thing because it had subtitles. I thought that's just the way the game was. And I heard the voice acting's awesome in that game.
Well, they just released a remastered version of that on Steam, which you could probably run on anything at this point.
Right. Yeah.
Day of the Tentacle's a great game.
Yeah.
Super weird, but great.
They were like the Discworld games. You ever play those?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I love all that shit. Like, that's like Zach McCracken might arguably be my favorite game of all time. And it's not even the best game of all the LucasArts games, but God, it's good.
I don't know that one. Let's see. Andrew wants to see the picture of the black mold in my bathroom, which I will post after the episode. I might have to move because of that.
It's no good.
No, it's not good. I actually
ceiling?
No, it's in the bathroom on the walls. Actually,
Ooh.
I think it's on the ceiling, but between floors, like above my ceiling, but below her floor.
Mm-hmm.
But I got a test and I sent it to a lab because I read there's like two kinds of black mold. One of them's toxic, and one of them's just like it's not good, but it's not like an emergency.
But it's not scary.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm gonna get the results in a couple days, and then we'll find out if I have to like move immediately or.
Oh,
yeah.
Your landlord won't deal with that shit?
I don't want to. I'll give you the Cliff Notes version. Basically, upstairs. Well, because we spent like a whole episode on it. Basically, upstairs neighbor is crazy and won't let him renovate her bathroom. He said he needs to simultaneously gut both of our bathrooms, which he's totally willing to do. But like, she's crazy and won't let him do it.
That's a nightmare.
Yeah. So that's a problem. So anyway, by next episode, I'll probably know what's happening with that. Andrew writes, what type of alcoholic beverage do you prefer whilst gaming?
Beer.
Do you have
but beer. Beer is perfect for gaming.
Do you have a specific type?
In a can or a bottle?
It's really narrowing it down.
Yeah. I'm going to go with Captain Morgan.
Oh, gosh. That's rough for gaming.
Me and the Captain and Smash Brothers just had a really good time.
But you're not sipping that.
No, I drink. I could drink a lot.
Yeah, but are you shooting it? Or are you, like, sipping it?
Don't mince around that. Own that shit. Yeah, I could drink a lot.
Are you doing shots? Are you mixing it? Or are you, like, putting ice with Captain Morgan's and just, like, casually drinking?
Are you soaking tampons in it?
There's no such thing as casually drinking Captain Morgan's.
My drink is Captain Morgan with Diet Dr. Pepper.
Okay, so you're mixing. That's fair. That's good.
I'll make a drink in a pint glass, and every time there's a low in the game, I'll take a big swig.
Yeah. I'm either a Jameson guy or red wine.
Actually, I like Jameson, but he gives me a hangover like no other.
You just got to drink more and more of it, and that will go away.
Like every time I drink Jameson.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Throw a bunch of ice cubes in there. Water it down.
I do. I don't know. I got a Bullet whiskey recently. That doesn't seem to give me a hangover.
Great.
Yeah. Yeah, my girlfriend got me Bullet and Hudson whiskey, and neither of those have given me a hangover, so I'm digging that.
Bullet rye. Highly suggest.
Yes. Let's see. Andrew writes, did the Brink forums survive the warning message? I think it got shut down for a day as like a punishment. I don't know. There's some like I don't even understand any. I'm not very technically savvy, and I was getting these messages saying that I met inode quotas and SQL databases exceeded the size, and I don't know what any of that shit means. So I just ignore it, and every once in a while, the site gets shut down for a day or two, and then they're like, "I hope you learned your lesson." The site's back up. So So yeah,
I'm telling you, you have a bunch of bots and spam and shit in there build up. You just need to purge the system.
Yeah, I don't know how to do any of that. I mean, I know why it's happening, but I don't know what to do about it other than just get the site shut down, every once in a while.
Well, you're still purging, so that works, right?
Yeah, I guess. I don't know. I'm not really doing anything. I think they might purge it when they shut me down.
That's probably what they're doing. And then like, oh, hope you learned your lesson, because all those people can't log in now and comment on your forums. On your forum. Oh my God, I hate that. I hate that. People, it's a forum. It's not forums. It's the forum. It's the Brink Insanity forum. Not their forums. It's a forum. There's all kinds of posts. I'm sorry. It's a forum. I live in an area where our major supermarket chains for the poor people is Aldi, and for the well-to-do folk is Kroger. Notice at the end of either one of those there is not an S, and yet everybody in the area I live in insists on putting an S on the end of just about any fucking store that they're gonna go to, especially the supermarkets. I'm going to go to Kroger's. I'm going to go to fucking Aldi's. No, that's not the fucking name on the sign. I'm sorry. We were talking about video games, right?
Mark, actually, co-host Mark writes, with the popularity of Pokemon Go, what the fuck is wrong with people?
Seems like a shot at you.
Pretty much. He wasn't here to make fun of me live on the show, so he's doing it via...
It's shiny and new.
Yeah.
It's the right move.
I did have one person who wanted to ask a question of us this evening. This is Kendra, who helps co-host the show on occasion on Random Ass Radio. She wanted to know how we feel about the overuse of comic themes and stories, and I'm assuming she means comic book themes and stories being made into movies and TV shows. Is there a line? Is there a limit? Where do you draw that? Is there too much shit with the Flash and Daredevil and Superman versus Batman? And is there too much comic content being shoved in our faces right now because it's popular? Is there a line, or is it like, bring it on? Should we have more fucking... I want a whole fucking 2 seasons on Netflix about Mr. Mxyzptlk, which would be kick-ass, or Black Lightning. We'll go for that too.
I've been saying on our podcast for maybe 7 years now that the bubble was going to burst on this, and I'm beginning to look like a real asshole. Because, like, every time I think that, they're like, oh, Black Panther's going to be in this. I'm like, Black Panther, he's going to be fucking terrible. And then you watch it, really good. He's great. Jessica Jones, she's great. Like, they're doing so well with it, right? At least Marvel is doing so well with it right now that I'm losing steam for my own argument. I mean, it has to burst eventually, because as like a film studies major, that is what happens. Like, Westerns go away, musicals go away, comic book movies will go away, but they're definitely fucking making the best out of it.
Oh yeah, everybody's making serious bank right now, and it's always going to have its little niche audience, but yeah, it's at the forefront right now. Definitely that. I don't see. I say keep bringing them because as Mr. Rob just said, water's going to find its own level. So once we're oversaturated, we'll know people will quit watching them. They'll go away. But yeah, I'm willing to watch anything they want to throw at me right now. If it's shitty, it's shitty. I won't watch it again. If it's good, thank God. This is all the shit that I needed in 8th grade to get me through the nights, and it wasn't.
See, I'm all for making all this stuff as long as the quality stays decent. And so far, there's hardly been a bad movie, which, from Marvel anyway. Not talking about Fox.
Yeah, let's make that clear. Everybody keeps kind of skirting it. Marvel's cool. DC still hasn't gotten their fucking shit together.
Exactly.
No.
Yeah.
What's funny, though, is that 12-year-old any of us would look at, like, Batman v Superman and be like, oh my God, they did it.
Yeah.
Like, that's how far those have come. We would have thought that was a godsend 20 years ago.
Can we clear something up right now? God damn it. In a fight, in a physical or real life fight, who would win, Spider-Man or Batman?
Spider-Man.
I would think Spider-Man.
Thank you. Because he has the proportional strength of a spider, right?
Right.
Because
He's mad.
He can catch and throw a fucking car. Batman can't.
The Batman.
Here's
the Batman can take a beating thing has gone too far.
Yeah, that's no shit.
Like, Superman should be able to fucking sneeze in his direction and pretty much handle everything that needs to happen in that fight.
Right.
Yeah, that movie should have been about 7 seconds long.
Right.
Heat vision,
You're
done.
bothering me. Goodbye.
Yeah.
Superman's always been, I mean, that's the biggest thing about Superman, right? He's like way overpowered.
Yeah, he's
way
bullshit.
Overpowered.
You have to write like emotional, tragic, personal storylines about a person who can't be stopped.
Although, you know who could stop him, and I'd love to see a Netflix series about Lobo. Anyone? Anybody remember Lobo? I fucking loved Lobo.
That's the DC Wolverine, like, mockery.
Not mockery. He rode a hog, dude.
I thought you were talking about the guy from Cloud City. What's his name?
Lando.
No, not Lando. His guy with the headphones. What's his name?
Oh, Christ, really?
Hang on.
Yeah.
The guy with the weird headset thing?
Yeah. I'm looking it up.
I didn't know he had it.
Lobot.
So right, not on the tip of my tongue.
Lobot?
Yeah. You know the guy, he like does the look off and then he points in a direction?
Yeah. No, I know exactly what you're talking about. I just didn't know.
He's low.
You know, there was a toy of that in the 80s, too.
That's the only... Honestly,
Lobot.
when you think about brand marketing and then you think back on the Star Wars toys, nobody ever did it better than that. Because now, like, I have that Battlefront. Do you have Battlefront? The game?
No.
Star Wars?
No.
So, like, they released DLC for that game, and they're like, oh my god, you're never going to believe who's coming. It's Bosch. And, like, Bosch is never named in the movies.
Mm-hmm.
He's never referred to by name. People only know his name because he was the figure Bosch. It's the same reason if I said, what do you think about Hammerhead? You'd be like, Hammerhead's fucking awesome. But that's because you had a Hammerhead figure as a kid. He sits at a table in the movie.
Right.
Like, he literally doesn't even stand up, but you know exactly who the fuck that guy is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they literally sold... I mean, there's scenes where you see a droid in the background, and that's a toy. Like, they market the shit out of that movie.
But for whatever reason, you know all of those guys.
Yeah. Because those are the ones our parents bought us, because they were a lot cheaper than, like, the Luke Skywalker toy.
But I could watch a Bourne Identity movie today, and tomorrow, the only person I know by name in that movie is Jason Bourne.
Yeah. That's a good point. Yeah, it's true. They sold the aunt uncle's fried burnt corpses as a toy.
Did they really?
Yes.
That's awful.
It's 2 charred corpses in a plastic thing.
Gotta want that.
The 80s were awesome for that. They sold the for Rocky. They sold the meat he punches in the training scene. I gotta find this. There's a list of like the weirdest toys from the 80s. Yeah,
stuff. That's amazing.
Yeah. Is that it for questions? Oh yeah, John wrote one. Is it wrong for me to masturbate in front of my dogs?
Not finish, but just like, most of it in front of them.
I mean, well, you got to do what you got to do. It's if your dog wants to
wrong,
watch.
but it depends on your situation.
Well, they always, if I leave them outside the room, they whine. Like, oh, I want to be in there with him. And it's really hard to kind of, get in the spirit when they're out there whining. But it's also because they'll both just sit there. Because there's 2 of them. They're litter mates. Blue Heeler Black Lab mixes. So they're like white with weird blackish blue spots on them and shit. And they both just sit there just looking at me the whole time. No matter
judging.
Where I'm at. And they're not even judging. They're just sitting there like dogs, and they're just like. But it's a couple of them, and it's just not conducive to the mood. But I've had to do it a few times, and I felt guilty. It's like, God, that's weird. If I was a dog, what would I think? I'm watching this guy have to, do whatever the fuck it is. What, he can't reach down there? He can't lick himself?
Now, do you feel like that? Does that apply to whether you're alone or in company? Same theory?
Apples and oranges. I mean,
yeah. Like, I don't know. It's uncomfortable.
Yeah.
I'm not doing a good enough job that I can have any kind of creature watching me do that.
Right? And I feel kind of bad about that because I'm 45. I've had years of practice, right? Years and years to perfect the art, and I still feel like, don't watch me.
Right.
And dogs always want to make eye contact for some reason. And what the fuck is up with that? It's like, no. I don't want to, in the throes of my pleasure, fucking crack my eyelids.
You're not helping. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
No good.
All right. So I think we've what? We're gonna end her out on masturbating in front of your dogs.
It's a great finish.
That we're boom, boom.
The grand culmination here.
I just wanted to ask: are you guys watching Preacher?
No, Ryan keeps telling me that I need to watch Preacher.
I don't even know what that is.
Oh, really? You never read the comic Preacher?
No.
Oh, okay. It's one of the most...
Oh, Preacher!
Novel.
Yeah. Jesus Christ. I thought you said Creature.
Oh, no.
No, Preacher? No. I read the book, but I haven't watched the TV. Is it good?
It's good, but it has almost nothing to do with the comic.
Did you love the comic?
I'm only on this second trade right now. I wouldn't say I'm liking it. I'm not loving it.
That's how I was. Yeah.
It's one of the most fucked up things I've ever read.
It's odd.
Yeah, it's very odd. How far did you get?
Literally about where you are. I think I read 2 trades.
Okay.
And I thought, this is cool. I'm glad someone made it. I don't know if I'm going to finish this.
Yeah.
It just didn't stick. I don't know why. Which has made watching the show even more difficult.
Right. Yeah, I don't. It's just weird that they made a show off the comic and then didn't use anything from the comic except like
from
the
the comic.
names.
Yeah, exactly. You'd think at least get the hardcore audience of this pretty popular comic on board, but I guess they don't care about that anymore.
They never have.
That's also true. Yeah.
Yeah, there's very few examples of shit that's gotten it right for the hardcore audience. You know what I mean?
I sat there after watching Cap 3, and we're reading Civil War 2 on the show right now, and I started thinking, like, Civil War, the first comic trade, was pretty fucking bad. Why would they make a movie of that? And then I thought about it, and I was like, those two things have nothing in common. I mean, virtually nothing in common whatsoever outside of the title.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Yeah, it was very, very loosely. It's like...
it was basically like Cap versus Iron Man. And, like, yeah, the rationale was the same, but outside of that, like, they share nothing in common.
Yeah, exactly.
They don't, which is, you're right, they don't care. It's like marketing.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, at least they did it good. It's not like when the X-Men...
Oh, it was great. I loved it. Yeah, but...
when the X-Men take, like, a really good storyline and then make a terrible movie out of it.
I'll watch Preacher eventually, but I just haven't been that moved to try it.
I feel the same way about the show as I do about the comic. I'm not sure if I like it yet. I'm like 5 or 6 episodes in, and I'm just like, it's weird. I don't know if it's good.
It's getting hard with some of these deep cut comics. Like, I always said a Y the Last Man comic movie or show, whatever, would be so amazing, but I don't know anymore. Now I just kind of feel like, just leave that alone.
Yeah, I don't know. If done right, that could be really good. But
it could be great.
Knowing the way they do it, they try and make it a TV show and they get like 6 seasons out of it and just totally ruin it. That's the problem. Everyone tries to get like 5-6 seasons out of something that is just not that much material.
Hence, BBC is smarter than all of us.
Yeah, exactly. They got it right, you know. If a show's done in 6 episodes,
actually, and the CW is smarter than everyone too because of something else my daughter has turned me on to, and I'm almost a season through, and that's something that's been on for 10 fucking seasons, going into.
Please say Pretty Little Liars.
No, Supernatural.
You're like the third person who told me that's really good recently.
My wife used to really love that.
Hear the words, it's very good, come out of my mouth. My daughter is infatuated with it. I appreciate it for some poor man's fucking X-Files shit. But as far as good, I'm going to have to see. I mean, I'm only halfway through season 1. I'm going to have to see why it's lasted this long. There's got to be some point in the show where it hits, where it's like, oh, that's why something lasted this long on the fucking CW.
I will warn you from what I know. There's a rising period on that, and then a real fucking severe dip for a while, and then it gets good again, is what I've heard. And because I remember when we gave it up, it was garbage. And that was somewhere around season 3, so it's not like it's that deep in.
For some reason, it's stuck around though, so that's how.
Oh, it's been forever. It's like don't they have like conventions around that fucking show now somehow, even though no one talks about it?
I don't know. I just know that all I hear all the time chattering in my right or left ear, depending on what computer she's on, it's all about Dean or Sammy. Deanie Weenie or Sammy Whammy. And my personal fanboy thing that I've come up with just by watching 6 episodes, and I know there's 10 seasons, kids, and I'm probably way off because she laughs at me like I'm a loon, but I say Sam is the demon that killed his mother and his girlfriend. Because who was the only other person there both times that we've all seen? It's fucking Sam. All right. I might be completely off. People might laugh at me going, oh, you're such a fool. You haven't seen everything. You don't know. But for right now, that's where I'm at with Supernatural. And aren't you all glad you know that now?
Spoiler.
Yeah.
Have you guys read Milk and Cheese?
What? Huh?
Milk and Cheese?
Yeah, Milk and Cheese.
Is it a show or a food?
No, it's a comic. It's like a little pint of milk and a wedge of cheese that are violent, raging alcoholics. And every episode, they just like curse a lot and run around and beat the shit out of people.
What?
It's literally.
That sounds fantastic.
It's the funniest thing I've ever read.
I will check that out. That sounds amazing.
The guy who did it was a writer for Space Ghost Coast to Coast.
Oh, cool.
And he fills up every page with so much shit. It took him like a year to do each issue. There's only like 7 issues, but it'll take you like 2-3 hours to read it because there's just so much shit on each page.
That's so weird.
Yeah, check that out. It's so good.
Where would one find that?
Do you want to buy it or do you want to like just find it?
Like even Pillars of Eternity, I guess I technically bought it, but I played it on Steam.
I mean, if you just Google Milk and Cheese comic, it'll come right up.
All right, cool.
Last question. What is the 2nd Avenue subway? Do you guys know about the 2nd Avenue subway?
Mm-mm.
Isn't that where if you say Bloody Mary 3 times while you're right?
I actually got trolled by the subway driver this morning going to work. I'm sitting there at the train station, and it's not moving for like 10 minutes. And then the conductor's like, we're stalled because of sick passengers, switch to the local train. So I get off the train, and the door's shut, and he goes.
What?
Yeah, I'm like, you motherfucker. I was so late to work today. Anyway,
how is that a funny joke? Why is he not getting fired?
I don't know. I don't know what that was about. Maybe he got it all clear to go as soon as he said that. I don't know, but I was livid.
Maybe he's an old soul who was just awakened to the fact that he is this continuing soul, and it's his purpose in life to be a dick with the MTA.
Could be. Second Avenue subway was an old subway, like 60 years ago. They shut that line down, and now they're trying to start it back up because the train's overpacked. And it's, the typical New York City subway thing. They're way over budget and way past their...
sure.
The usual shit. Now they're saying it'll be like another couple of years before it's up. Because that is how the New York subway goes. Which is why I admire you guys who have cars and can actually drive to work and, not smell bums and all that other fun stuff on the way to work.
You got your advantages. You live in the city. It's awesome. Sometimes.
I'm getting over it, like real quick.
The heartbeat of the world, New York City. I've been there, and I did appreciate this. And believe me, I just live an hour and a half away from Chicago. But New York City, every street has a very distinctive, every block, a very distinctive stench to it, and different. Each you're like, oh God, this is so overpowering and bad. I can't stand this. And you can just, walk for about 3 minutes, and it's like, oh fuck, that's even worse.
Yeah, that's
you got the Jersey guy laughing about that shit, man.
Well, I mean, sometimes you get different stenches on the same block. You'll be like smelling like a bakery. You take a deep breath, and then like 2 seconds later, it's like dumpster and bum, and you're like, oh.
Yeah, New York in the summer. That's not a place I miss.
No. Just dog pee and rotting garbage.
Just the worst.
But you got culture.
Yeah, I'm over culture.
Yeah, I would never take advantage of that.
You know what, though? I live in the sticks, and I guess the trade-off is, at least where you're at, people won't ask you if you talk about reading something, and it's somebody you don't really know that well, and all of a sudden you'll find out about them when they go, you read on purpose?
Oh, dear.
Oh,
yeah.
no.
I've had that asked of me more than once, and
God.
not by the same person.
Yeah, I guess there is that.
I told them Snape kills Dumbledore. They didn't know what I meant, but I felt better.
Yeah, I never lived in like deep like Merca country. I could see that getting old real quick.
I mean, I'm in Alabama, which you would argue would have that problem, but I work in a college town and I live in like the most sort of forward city in the state. So I kind of we definitely, like, on video shoots go into areas where that would be a problem, but like daily life I avoid that.
Yeah, I guess I would miss all like the different foods and like
that's what kills me being gone.
Yeah, because even like when I go visit my friend who lives like a half hour outside of Boston, it's like Chinese food or pizza is like literally the only things you can get.
It normalizes real fast.
Yeah.
And you can't just have a Puerto Rican crave.
If you even mention
solve
like
that problem,
Indian food or Thai food, like their reactions, like, what the fuck? Like, why would we ever have that? Anyway, I think we're running really long. So, anything else you guys want to talk about before we go?
I just wanted to bring up that the one other thing that is sticking me up right now, game-wise, is I've been playing the Stick of Truth, the
So
South
good.
Park game. I've just been playing it here and there, but only because, and only for the nostalgia reasons, because I fucking love Super Mario RPG.
Have you played that, Rob?
And of the seven.
No, I want to though, but now you're making it sound like it's not good. Is it not good?
It's really good.
Which one?
It's Stick of Truth.
Oh, Stick of Truth is Super Mario RPG.
That sounds good.
Yeah, it's not bad. But with South Park, it can get kind of old. I mean, I can only take it in medium doses, I guess. It's not one that I can constantly play, but if I'm feeling, I need something light.
How long is it? Is it like a real long game? I can't imagine.
No, actually, about the same amount of time it'd take to take care of Legend of the Seven Stars.
I don't know.
they were giving it away free if you pre-ordered the next one that's coming out, the superhero one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no,
which I thought about doing because I don't know why I skipped it, but I thought it looked great.
Yeah, no, I would definitely go for it. I mean, it's written by Trey Parker and Matt Stone, and it's pretty much a playable
moments. Yeah,
I mean, yeah, the Mr. Hanky part's just hysterical.
It's worth the try. Like I said, I didn't sit and just like, oh, I'm gonna tear the fucking ass and shit out of this game and shit and fucking shit. But I do play it now and again just for the laughs on it. Because kids, Pillars of Eternity is out there.
You got
it's all apps because it's so important.
You go to Canada and the game turns 8-bit. It's pretty funny.
It's awesome.
Yes, I really wish Canadians did have floppy heads. I really do. That would be so amazing.
And you could collect Chimpokemon if you don't want to play Pokemon Go. You could do that.
Yeah, there you go. Oh, well, I couldn't because of my enormous American penis. Gigantic, gargantuan American penis. I could not, but I wouldn't mind if anybody else did.
Yeah, it's literally got like every character. You can go with the shitty walk and like, it's so good.
That's so cool.
It's not too bad. So have we, was there anything we learned this week at all? Besides the fact that Stardew Valley, if you want to,
Stardew Valley's amazing.
If you want to get the full experience out of it, 6 Mozart cello concertos by Yo-Yo Ma,
and no cheats.
And no cheats. If that's the only thing you play behind it, is just play some cello behind Stardew Valley, and you will not be disappointed. Trust me. And work towards those sprinklers because they are kick ass.
They are very helpful.
All right, we learned a lot about Stardew Valley.
You sound ecstatic.
We learned that we felt too bad to even make fun of spending $1,000 on Rainbow Six.
I don't. You're a dumbass.
That poor guy. I feel real bad about that situation.
You should friend him then.
I mean, I don't feel that bad about that situation.
Do you ever get friend requests from fans and then realize they're over posters?
That they're what?
Over posters. Like,
oh, yeah. I am an unfollow maniac on stuff like that. Like, I can't deal. I'm not going to do it.
It should have a disclaimer with friend requests. Like, warning, this guy posts 20 times a day.
Yeah, podcasting's a real bad world for that, too, because, like, you're not known enough that you should feel like that's okay.
Mm-hmm.
But it's okay. You know, like, when your feed blows up 20 times a day with somebody that you're not positive listens to your show, you shouldn't have to keep that there.
Yeah, I agree.
Do you guys get into the whole world of people following and then following your wife or girlfriend on social media?
Yes, I have run into that.
That's a pleasant situation.
Yeah. Well, the biggest thing is, well, how did they know? I'm like, well, because you're on fucking Facebook and your shit's not blocked.
Yeah,
right.
It's definitely not hard to get to that.
Listed as your spouse. I mean, it's not. They didn't have to fucking go through some weird back fucking NSA channels and shit to find out.
But on the same hand, don't you spend like 10 seconds and go, would I friend the wife of someone I listen to on a podcast?
Yeah, that's a little weird.
And if I would, what's wrong with me?
I've got time to give you my my.
Well, yeah, and I'm sure we could all spend a while on that, but I don't know. That's a dark corner.
It's the price we pay for excellence.
For absolutely nothing.
Yeah, to spend a lot of money to have a couple
for
people
no return, for losing money on
for saying words that some people like to hear.
Maybe.
Like, to me, that's podcasting. Podcasting is saying words that some people like to hear. Thank you, Mr. Webster. If you decide to use that, please contact me, John, Jon, at randommassradio.com. We'll talk about payment agreements, but I think that's the most succinct Definition of podcasting. We say words that people want to hear.
All right. Thank you guys for joining. randomsradio.com. That
show's coming.
Sometime in the next 4 or 5 months, John will
right.
post 30 or 40 episodes.
You're going to get 30 episodes at once.
And UncannyXcast.net.
Com.
.com. Oh, it is .com. Okay. Yes. And you guys are in a, I guess, a normal recording mode now?
Yeah. Normal for us.
Yeah. Okay. Sounds good. All right. Thanks again, guys, and we'll talk soon.
Thanks, man.
What was the thing we wanted to talk about next time? Stardew Valley?
No. What is this stupid game? Something.
Oh,
Showa.
The Sword of Fargo.
Sword of Fargo.
Oh, God damn it.
Fargo.
The Sword of Fargo. Stay
I'm gonna
tuned for
play
that,
this
folks.
fucking
Sword
game.
of Fargo cast coming
There's
up.
like a whole website, the Sword of Fargo 2 online.
What?
Oh, no, there's a Kickstarter. Oh, you are fucking slacking if you're not on this.
Dude, I'm telling you, man. The Sword of I am a trendsetter before trends are ever set.
Oh, they got 50,000 in Kickstarter. You got to fucking get on this. There's an updated beta.
Oh, wow. Looks like it's going to happen.
Oh, here's something big. The guy running the Kickstarter, his car broke. So it's going to be a little while before he can catch up with what he's promised.
Well, God damn, car
Because of his fucking car.
It's just one
That's
dude.
great.
That happens. That happens to people still.
Kickstarter, dear God.
Why is it just one dude, and why can't he program from his house?
I hate Kickstarter so much. Like, no story sent me into more of a rage than like back scenes Kickstarter failure.
Oh, what about
That's
the guy?
why I like, not to bring it full circle before we close this out. That's why I like that Stardew Valley fucker, because this guy cranked out an incredible game. He did the entire soundtrack for it. He did every single thing in that game on his own in like a 3-year period. He kind of went a little crazy during it, but it's amazing. You don't see him complaining.
Same thing with Axiom Verge too.
Yeah.
That was killer.
And those dudes are making, like, that Stardew Valley guy freaked out because he made like $4 million in like a week. But you know what? Hard work, and his car didn't break down.
Right?
Not like this sort of Fargo asshole.
Yeah. Come on, man. Cars broke down. There's not even USB support on these VIC 20s, man.
I will say the sort of Fargo Kickstarter art looks pretty cool.
I'm telling you,
Just like the old game, but kind of quirky in like a. Didn't you say you're playing Torchlight?
Yeah, Torchlight 2. Yeah.
It's got like a Torchlight meets Ultima look to it. It's kind of cool.
There you go. Nice. I'd do that. Yeah, the only reason I'm playing Torchlight right now because
How many goddamn games are you playing right now? I don't think we've mentioned a game all episode that you haven't been playing.
I'm also playing SimCity, which blows giant dick because it's way too difficult.
That game's so hard.
Yeah, it's way too hard. And that's pretty much it. I'm playing Final Fantasy 9 on my phone too.
That's my favorite Final Fantasy game.
Yeah.
Do those ports on the iPhone and stuff hold up? Are they good?
The port for the Android right now for Final Fantasy 9 is amazing. I'm really super surprised. The only problem I have is, of course, you're using your finger for the joystick, but Final Fantasy games aren't known.
It doesn't matter. Yeah.
Controller control. So yeah.
I do. I'm a chump that likes Final Fantasy 7, and I keep almost caving on that on iPad.
See, my favorite was 8. Nobody likes 8. Everybody hates 8.
I like 7, 8, and 9. I like all three.
I love junctioning. I love the whole junctioning system. And I love the fact that Square Enix can always give you an outstanding UI. Every fucking Final Fantasy, I look forward to it for more than anything, the battle system and the menus. What are they going to be like? What are they going to be like? Love it.
All right.
Yeah.
Sorry, delayed your close there.
A lot of nerdism coating everything right now.
All right. Thanks again, guys, and we'll talk soon.
Thanks, man.
See ya.
And nothing else you guys want to plug?
Nah.
randomassradio.com.
All right. Goodbye.
Like radio shit.
Goodbye, everybody. It's all over. Goodbye. It's time to go.
This is the end.
Say goodbye.